It's all of January's bad jokes on, well, I thought it was funny. Did you hear about the fire at the Adidas shoe factory? Over 1,000 souls were lost. I think it must have been started by some sort of heel. The doctor asks the nurse, "Who's my next patient?" And she says, "Well, the invisible man is in the waiting room." And the doctor says, "Tell him I can't see him." What kind of doctor is Dr. Pepper? He's a physician. You know, the first time I tried to use a taser, I was shocked to find out I was holding it backwards. Oh wow, there's a huge sale at the Lego store. People are lined up for blocks. Today I learned the hard way not to throw sodium chloride at someone. Apparently, that's assault. If I were you, I'd be careful what you say and do in a vegetable garden. The corn has ears, the potatoes have eyes, and the beans talk. There's an old saying that goes, "He who eats many prunes gets a good run for his money." A farmer I knew used to let people cross through his field for free, except for his bull. His bull would charge. You know, hamburger helper only works if the hamburger wants help. Why did the lizard go to the doctor? Because he was suffering from reptile dysfunction. What do you call a large outlaw bird of prey that's not feeling well? An ill eagle. Baseball is unrealistic. There's no way a man with 4 balls can walk. Well, it looks like nobody showed up at the first meeting of the Camouflage Wearers Club. I have to say it was a huge success. Everybody remembers Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, but nobody remembers Alexander Kowalski, the inventor of the telephone pole. I used to think dueling pianos was the peak of entertainment, but that's before I discovered jousting banjos. You know, smart water is awesome. You can tell who isn't by who's drinking it. Everybody talks about Bob Ross the painter, but I rarely hear anyone mention his brother Albert Ross, who was known for his 9-foot wingspan. I quit playing poker with pothead cows. The stakes were way too high. I told my boss that I didn't think my salary was in line with my skill level, and he said he agreed, but it's illegal for him to pay me less. I went to the bookstore and I asked the salesperson where the self-help section was. She said if she told me, it would defeat its purpose. I can cut a piece of wood in half just by looking at it. Don't believe me? I saw it with my own 2 eyes. What do you call a bearded vase maker? Harry Potter. On that note, I've recently been diagnosed as a psychoceramic. That's right, folks, it's official. I'm a crackpot. How do you keep the funniest people in the world in suspense? I'll tell you later. I always wear a stethoscope around my neck when leaving the house. That way, if there's a medical emergency, I can teach an important lesson about assumptions. My recliner and I go way back. I drew Mark Hamill on my wife's forehead while she was sleeping. You should have seen the look on her face when she woke up. To anyone out there that doesn't like my musical puns, you have my symphony. A friend of mine is always late. I mean, it's so bad, I swear her ancestors came over on the June flower. Jokes and opinions are like farts. If you've gotta force it, probably crap. What runs around the farm but never moves? The fence. A limbo champ walked into a bar. He lost, of course. I decided to go see a psychic. And when I knocked on her door, I heard her yell, "Who is it?" So I left. If walking is so good for you, why does my mailman look like Jabba the Hutt? Why is it when you donate 1 kidney, everybody loves you, but if you donate 5 kidneys, they call the police? I just read that somebody gets stabbed in New York every 52 seconds. It's gotta suck to be that guy. The older I get, the more I think about all the people I lost along the way. Yeah, I think becoming a tour guide was a bad idea. Why can't hedgehogs just get along and share the hedge? If I bought a DeLorean, I would only drive it from time to time. Every fortune teller I've ever met is either depressed or overly enthusiastic. Why can't I just find a happy medium? What do you call a guy pouring water into a glass? Phil, my grief counselor just died. He was so good, I don't even care. What do you call a lonely cheese? Provolone. My uncle always told me, don't be quick to find faults. He was a great man, but a terrible geologist. You know what they say about cliffhangers. What does a painter do when they're cold? They put on another coat. It's starting to get cold out, folks, so remember, Ewoks are not meant to be left outside. They are indoor pets. I just found out that Bill Nye is a stage name. His real name is William New Year's Eve. Have you heard that nasty rumor about butter that's going around? No? Well, never mind. I'm not going to spread it. Fun fact, Australia's biggest export is boomerangs. Another fun fact, it's also their biggest import. Cosmetic surgery used to be such a taboo subject. Now you can talk about Botox and nobody raises an eyebrow. What do fries do when they haven't seen each other for a while? Ketchup. I was washing my car with my son this morning when my neighbor came up and suggested that a sponge might work better. Whose smart-ass idea was it to put an S in the word lisp? I have a pet termite named Clint. Clint eats wood. If your spouse makes bad coffee, is that grounds for divorce? When Flipper used to perform at SeaWorld, he would often get the audience completely soaking wet. I'm pretty sure he did it on porpoise. What is a four-letter word with a little laugh in the middle? It really is. Speeding has gotten out of control. Raise your right foot if you agree with me. I was sitting drinking coffee in my slippers when I thought to myself, I really need to wash some cups. The founder of IKEA was elected president of Sweden. Word is, he's still assembling his cabinet. My dermatologist told me that towels are the leading cause of dry skin. A lot of women say their husbands never listen to them. I'm proud to say that I've never heard my wife say that. The last thing my grandfather said before passing away was, pints, liters, gallons. That speaks volumes. Yesterday, my wife told me that our 5-year-old wasn't my son. I was pretty upset, and then she told me I had to pay more attention when picking up our kids at school. I saw a chameleon yesterday, so I guess it was a pretty crappy chameleon. How do you identify a dogwood tree? By its bark, of course. The police knocked on my door at 3:30 in the morning the other night. Normally I'd be pissed, but luckily I was up playing my bagpipes at the time. Silly putty implies the existence of serious putty. I think that's called C4. I just ordered a chicken and an egg online. I'll let you know which one comes first. Everyone's getting emails from Nigerian princes. I got an email from the Egyptian pharaoh. Turns out it was a pyramid scheme. I really hope those made you laugh, my friends. Those are all the jokes I told over the month of January 2026 and these videos we put out every couple of days here. And I've got to thank some people for those jokes. I got to thank my beautiful, wonderful wife, Wendy. I got to thank Dave Knapp. I got to thank my brother from another mother, Manfred Kintop. I got to thank my brother from the same mother, Ian Kempster. I got to thank Michelle Finnerty. I got to thank Rufus T. Firefly and Mr. Callahan on YouTube. And folks, I know there's other people out there that I'm forgetting, but folks, thank you to everybody out there. And folks, if you got a chuckle out of these over the month and you want to help out, you want to say thanks, you can always buy me a cup of coffee. We have a donation link in our notes. It's $2 Canadian. If you're in the States, that's like $1.65 or something like that. Less than $2. And it would go a long way. And we also have an awesome store. Check out our store at store.wellithoughitwasfunny.com. And please hit like, hit subscribe, all that kind of crazy stuff. Folks, you have a fantastic day and keep laughing.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Well, I think it was funny.
Well, I thought 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 it was funny.